Hello and welcome. I'm Millicent Walker. Tonight, as Christian faithful the world over celebrate Easter, commemorating the resurrection of Christ, Pope Francis calls for an end to the carnage in Syria. Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo joins other Christians to celebrate Easter, confident that the country will overcome its challenges. And President Muhammadu Buhari felicitates with Christian faithful in Nigeria as they join others around the world to celebrate Easter. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan trade words over the deadly clashes at the Israeli-Gaza border. We begin tonight with celebrations world over as Christians celebrate a day which commemorates the resurrection of Jesus Christ on the third day after his crucifixion. Easter is the celebration of the central theme and foundation of the Christian faith and is usually preceded by Lent, the 40-day period of fasting, prayer and abstinence for many denominations. At the Vatican, Pope Francis in his Easter message called for an end to what he calls carnage in Syria, which has raged on for 7 years.
Pope Francis' Ubi et Orbi message to the city and the world drew attention to Palestinians who died demonstrating against Israeli occupation in Gaza. The protests hold every year, and this year comes ahead of the 70th anniversary of the founding of Israel and the exodus of many Arabs, which Palestinians refer to as the Nakba, catastrophe in English. Pope Francis called for reconciliation in the Holy Land, saying the ongoing conflict does not spare the defenseless. He hoped that the light of the risen Christ could illumine the consciences of all political and military leaders in order to end the conflict. Speaking about the ongoing situation in the Korean Peninsula, the pontiff said that he's hoping that fruits of dialogue would advance peace and harmony in a region where the two sides are set to hold their first summit in more than a decade on April 27th, right after North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un promised to commit to denuclearization.
And as Christians in Nigeria join others across the globe to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ, the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, is confident Nigeria will overcome its challenges and become a great nation. The Vice President spoke after attending a church service to commemorate the day at the Aso Villa Chapel in Abuja. He said under the current administration, a lot is being achieved and the country is on the path of resurrection.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo joins other worshippers to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ. They prayed and sang in worship. The congregation referred to the Holy Bible for the messages of resurrection, salvation and hope. Matthew chapter 28 verses 1 to 10 were read in the three major Nigerian languages. The chaplain of the Aso Villa Chapel speaks on the power of resurrection and salvation. In his sermon titled Temporary Hour of Darkness, he prayed for the lives of Nigerians, their families and the nation.
Jesus has risen, and he has risen in your life, he has risen in your family, he has risen in this nation, and our sins have been washed away. Not only is it that our sins have been washed away, the power of sin, the power of the devil has been broken. Hallelujah, he arose. Hallelujah, is alive. Hallelujah, is alive. Hallelujah, is alive.
His message resonates with the congregation as they dance to music ministration by the choir. end of the service, Nigeria's Vice President expressed gratitude to God for the gift of salvation and expressed confidence that Nigeria is on the path of resurrection.
The resurrection of Jesus Christ is also a strong and powerful message to the nation that our nation is on the path of resurrection, is on the path of progress, is on the path of elevation. We're moving out from all of our challenges and we're going to a place of greater hope, peace and prosperity and abundance for all of us.
The celebrations continue as the federal government declares Monday a work-free day. From the presidential villa, Abuja, Ibrahim Adra, Channels Television News.
Well, as Christians all over the world commemorate the resurrection of Jesus Christ, Christian clergies across the northern states believe there is still hope for a better Nigeria despite the challenges threatening the nation's unity and progress. The clerics are therefore appealing to Nigerians to keep hope alive and keep interceding for the country until the nation overcomes its problems.
Christian faithful across the north celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ. The primate of the Anglican Communion and the senior pastor of the All Christians Fellowship Mission express hope for a peaceful Nigeria.
There is power in the resurrection to quicken the life of people, and we need our lives to be quickened.
We should not give up hope. We should keep hope alive. Jesus Christ died to pay the price for our sins, thereby removing every obstacle in our way to achieving whatever we propose to achieve in life.
The message of hope is also re-echoed by the leader in charge of the Cherubim and Seraphim Church movement and his counterpart at the Eternal Sacred Order of the Cherubim and Seraphim. At the St. Michael's Catholic Cathedral, Mina, the service was marked with praise and worship, while at the Assemblies of God Church, Railway Road, Mina, it was a solemn moment for the worshippers who were reminded in a playlet that there is a time when every man's work on earth will be judged. Christian faithful also converged on the Redeemed Christian Church of God, City of Grace in Lokoja, to thank God for another Easter celebration.
Christians should learn to be daring about their faith. Whether it's smooth or rough, we should stand firm and declare the Lordship of Jesus over our lives.
In his Easter message, the Anglican Bishop of Kaduna Diocese urges political leaders to adopt a positive approach to governance by putting the interests of the masses above themselves. On his part, the state governor Nasir El-Rufai in a broadcast calls for peaceful coexistence among people of the state.
We are first and foremost Nigerians before we remember the village we come from.
Let us continue to practice in our daily lives the lessons of sacrifice, care for the poor, deep spiritual reflection, and love for all humankind.
In Borno State, the University of Maiduguri lecturers who were recently freed by Boko Haram urged Nigerians to pray for Leah Sharibu, the Dapchi girl in captivity. The appeal was made at a special Thanksgiving service in Maiduguri organized by two of the released lecturers, Dr. Solomon Yusuf and Yusuf Ibrahim of the Geology Department.
The grace of God actually kept us going. The prayers of the whole nation kept us going. The Lord answered the prayers and saw us through the whole period.
While it was Thanksgiving in many churches and homes across the country, it's been a time of sadness for the family of Leah Sharibu, the abducted Dapchi schoolgirl still held by the Boko Haram insurgents.
The celebration of Easter for this year to my side is very, very bad because I celebrated it without my daughter. Because I used to celebrate Easter in a good mood with my family. But this one, I celebrated it without my daughter Leah, so I'm not happy. I heard that the Mr. President assured Nigerians that he will do his possible best to return my daughter back to me. And the prayers for the whole world is praying for my daughter, for her returning. It has encouraged me that yes, my daughter will be back.
As Christians celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ, many are optimistic that Nigeria as a nation would rise above her challenges. Nigerians are also offering prayers for the safe return of Leah Sharibu.
Churches in Lagos were not left out in observing the Easter celebration at various worship centers in Lagos with songs of praise and worship. At Our Saviour's Anglican Church, the vicar called on the leadership of the country to live a selfless life in order to take the country forward.
It's the celebration of the resurrection of Christ, and at various worship centers, Christians are brilliantly dressed for the occasion. From the solemn to the mild and then high praise. The theme of the message at the Cathedral Church of Christ Marina is Hallelujah, Christ is risen.
Christ rose as proof from scriptures.
It's an atmosphere of hallelujah at Our Saviour's Anglican Church, Tafawa Balewa Square, as parishioners express their appreciation of the work through Calvary. From the pulpit to the congregants, the message here is that of peace.
The purpose of God for Nigeria is great, and we can continue to trust in Him, reflect Him and His word in all that we do, live a selfless life, and live a life that is sacrificial.
Please, let us have peace in Nigeria, and let us really, truly love one another.
Similar ambience is what worshippers bring to the table at the Deeper Life Bible Church. The message of the journey of Christ to Calvary is to reconcile man with God. And this is vividly on display at the Covenant Christian Center.
The resurrection of Jesus Christ means that people should not be in despair. It's a message of hope that regardless of what you are going through, based on what Jesus Christ has done for you, you will eventually triumph no matter how bad the situation is.
Drawing inference from the sacrifice of the Messiah, Pastors Tunde Bakari of the Latter Rain Assembly and Femi Fasheru of KICC have these messages for our leaders.
God will cause a turnaround. He will give us leaders after His own heart, who are sensitive and who are sensible and who are responsible.
We need, as a nation, we need to understand that yes, we need to make sacrifices, but we have to ensure that we do not subject ourselves to further punishment.
The shedding of the blood initiates a new covenant. This sacrifice to Christians is the birth of a renewed hope and expectation of a brighter tomorrow. Chris Elent, Channels Television News.
In part 2, after the break, more on the Easter celebrations, plus the federal government releases a second batch of alleged looters, saying it is based on verifiable facts. Please stay with us.